Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to fold the F4 Phantom. As you can see, it not only has some of those realistic features of the actual plane, the F4 Phantom, for example, this unique curvy shaped fuselage, this crooked wings, this inverted Y-shaped tail, and you can also see here are the afterburners and these intakes. And it also has a cockpit, although it's not the color changing style, it's actually formed with a crease pattern. And it also has landing gears and missile racks. Yeah, it's not only looks realistic and has those features, but it's also functional because you can see you can attach missiles or actually retract or the landing gears or whatsoever. You can have tons of fun playing with it, not just grab and throw it, and that's all. And so let's begin and how to fold it. So first off, you need an A4 paper, and this one is actually kind of A3 size, not the exactly A4, because I don't recommend you to use A4 printer paper because it's going to be really thick out there and will be really hard to fold. I suggest you use something that has the same aspect ratio of the square root 2, that is larger or thinner. So let's begin. First, let's fold the paper in half 2 times. Yeah, this one longitudinal and then transversely. And after doing so, you just have to make a water bomb base on one of the sides, like so. Alright, after you made this water bomb base, you just unfold it, and then you fold this down, open this pocket up, and then you fold this to this side, like so, and you then unfold it like this, and then you return to the water bomb base. And then you just follow creases and squash this. And then you pull this layer out like so. And fold this over. And let's do it to the other side. Yeah. And you'll also notice that you have these 2 points land on the other center crease of this paper. And what you're gonna do is to fold this up. Oops. Like so. Although after doing this step, you have to do one step that is repositioning. Yeah. So how to do this is you unfold it again, and then you just do it reversely like this. And then you follow that crease again. You just fold it, and then you notice it's like this now, and then you just have to reposition it to this stage, like so. Yeah, just paste this triangle up, and you have these 2 smaller triangles down, like so. And then you notice that, let's flip it over. Yeah, you have this point right here, and now you're just going to follow this point and fold it down, like so. And when you turn to the other side, you will notice that this line is actually perfectly lined up with this. Yeah. Now let's turn it back, and then you notice that here's a point right here. And what you're gonna do is to fold all these paper up. Follow, right at this point. That's what you're gonna do. And then you flip it over again, and you notice that you have this tiny bit out. And what you're gonna do is just fold it down, like so. And then you just tuck this, like so. And okay, let's reinforce our creases. And then what's gonna happen is pretty basic, and you just fold this like this. Yeah, just match this edge right to the center, like so. And then you do it to the other side. like this. Okay, and then you just have to flip it over, and then you fold this in and make sure that you have this edge right here matching up with this, with the center line. Okay, it's like this now, and then you just fold these two triangles in. Again, you just have to match them with the center line, like so. And then you do it to the other side. Reinforce everything. And then you notice that you have this tiny bit out here. What you're gonna do is to pull it out first. And then let's make some creases for a bird base. Just basically poke your finger in and collapse it, like so. Yeah, you only have one free layer for this one. And after you do so, you just have to pull this tip up, like so, and you form this. And then you fold this triangle down, reinforce it, and tuck it in, and reinforce it again. Yeah, because I want my creases more rigid. And then you just unfold everything and start repositioning your layers. Okay, so first we have to unfold it back to this stage and then pull this layer up, and then let's start restructuring. Okay, just basically you pull all this up like this, and then you just have to follow this crease first and then fold it down like so, and then yeah, same for this side. Just be careful. And now you have a half of this bird base, and then you open this up. Yeah, the tiny bird base is taking shape now, and now just follow those creases and pockets and collapse everything. And congratulations, you have the base. Alright, let's continue. And now you have made your base, and now what you're gonna do is just fold this up. Basically, you're just following this edge, and you do it to the other side. And then you notice that you also have these two flaps over here, and what you're gonna do is just fold them up like this, and make sure that you have this edge matching with this. Same for the other side. And then you just have to fold this up like so. And then what you're gonna do is to, okay, you notice that here's a little flap right here, and you just have to pull it out like so. And same for the other side, like so. And then you just follow these edges right here, and then you also have these for reference, and then you just fold them like so. Yeah, follow them and then collapse it. And also you notice that your crease here is lined up, and then collapse it. Now let's do it to the other side, like so. And also you have to make sure that these points are perfectly matched up. And now what you're gonna do is to pull this layer down like this. And then same for the other side, like so. Alright, and now let's open this up. Basically, you just transfer this tiny layer right here. Okay, let's check it, and yeah, it's like this now. Yeah, it's here now, and then you fold it down like so, and let's do it to the other side. Alright. And after doing so, you also notice that you have this layer here. Now what you're gonna do again is to open it up, and then you follow the creases and sink it like so. And then just be careful, you just have to follow the creases. Okay. and collapse it. Yeah, it should be look like this. Alright, let's do it to the other side. Just again open it up and fold this and collapse it. Yeah, just sink it here. Yeah, after you actually reposition these layers down there and you just fold them down, and then you fold it like this, open the pocket and make sure that you have this being perfectly lined up, and then collapse everything, and you pull this layer down like so, collapse it, and also you have this point being meshed up like so. Let's do it to the other side. Just open it up and then collapse it. Also make sure that this line is being perfectly lined up. Fold it down. Oops, pull it over. Pull it out a little bit. And these points are matched up. Now you notice that you have these two free flaps here, and you just have to fold them up like so. And same for this side. Okay, let's adjust some. Alright, let's fold them down. Now let's fold it in, open it up, and then just follow the creases you made and collapse it. Okay, just be careful. Alright, it should be like this. Let's do it to the other side. Well, just a little twist. Okay, let's collapse everything. Okay, let's also check the symmetricity. Oops, there's a little bit. Okay, let's do it off cam. Alright, let's continue. And also you notice that, yeah, here you have this pocket, and just have to pull it out and pull this out like so. And now you flip this over and fold this up like so. And then you also do it to this side, to this layer, fold them up. And then just fold it up again like so, and same for the other side, and then just unfold them. And now you notice that you have this, and you just have to fold this down, and this part you just go right to this edge and collapse it like so. And then let's do it to the other side. Yeah, you should be familiar with this if you fold Irrelevant's FX Ocelot. Yeah, I took inspiration from that plane. Now just fold this down. Come on. Right, let's reinforce the creases. so, and check it. Okay, now we can also make our stabilizers out. Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Falcon, and you just fold them up first. And then you just fold them in like so. And then same for the other side. Yeah, just make sure that you have these edges lined up with the bottom perfectly. And after you do this, you just have to fold them up and make sure that they match up with this, like so. Yeah, just be careful. And same for the other side. Like so. Let's reinforce our creases. After doing so, just unfold it. And then you open this pocket up and follow the creases you made and just, yeah, like this. Reverse fold it. And then you follow this. And then you fold this out. And collapse everything. And then you do it to the other side. And then fold this in. Like so. And collapse it. And then you just have to open this up and fold this out. Again, following the creases you made. And also you can check your symmetricity here, so your layer steps won't be messed up. Okay, let's fold this over and run a symmetricity check. Okay, this needs a little bit adjustment. And what did I tell you? These two flaps are merely for some reference points. Okay, let it go. And then you just have to fold this up first, like this. And then you just have to fold it, and then you unfold it, and then you fold it again here. Yeah, making this point match up with this line. So you create two reference creases. And after these two reference creases created, you just have to fold it almost between in the middle of these two. Like so. Yeah. It's right in the middle almost. Almost here. The creases just almost line them up, and then you just have to open this pocket and pull it down like so, and then you just reposition the layers again. And pull this layer out. Just smooth everything out. Yeah, it's not hard. And now let's do it to the other side. just fold this up and make sure that this point first line up with this one, and then you collapse it and unfold it and then move it to here at this point. Yeah, and unfold it again, and then you just line to the middle, fold it down, and then open the pocket and collapse. And then move out the layer. Like so. And then fold it down. And maybe we can run a symmetricity check. Or maybe we can make our landing gears first. So that could actually make some parts a lot easier. I forgot it. Okay, it's pretty basic, just like the Raider V2. Not Raider, Fury V2. I misspelled it. Yeah, just do this sort of 1/3 trick and do a rabbit fold. And then fold it down like so. And now let's do it to the other side. Okay, after you're doing so, you just have to fold this over and then fold it like this, collapse it, and then you just fold it down. And just, yeah, be careful. And then collapse it. Okay. So now you actually have this, and then let's fold this in. Like so. Yeah, this style of hard points is actually a real common thing on origami planes that are some sort of advanced, cool looking. Oops, it's a little bit tiered because this A4 is actually cut from a huge square. Let's do this. And then fold this up like so, and then you just fold it like this and collapse it, and you have your hard points. And same for this side. And then fold this. And then collapse it, open it up, and fold this in. Okay, and let's do to this layer. Just fold this in, and then fold this over, and then fold this up, and then fold this in, and fold this down like so. And after you do this, you notice that here is the section, and let's make the cockpit and intakes. You just fold this over, this almost matching up with the center crease, and then let's pull this side over like so. And then let's reinforce our creases. And then you just open this up and collapse it. Just reinforce everything. And then you just pull this up and fold this in right to the center. And like so, and then collapse it. Alright. And then you just have to fold this up like this. Yeah, it's gonna be your intakes, and fold this down. And then collapse everything. And then fold this out and then collapse it like so. Let's shape it a little bit. Oops. And after doing so, you also notice that here are these two tiny bit of flaps, and then you just have to fold them in right into this pocket. So actually you outline the cockpit using the creases, and same for the other side. Okay, after you do this, you also notice that here we have the flaps, and first we're gonna fold them like this, and same for the other side. Yeah, basically just fold them in half and then unfold it. And after you notice the half, you just have to make a quarter right here, and then unfold it and do it to the other side. After doing so, you just have to transfer this valve fold into a mountain fold. Yeah, just transfer it from a mountain fold to a valve fold. Yeah, and like this. And same for the other side. After you do it, there's this quarter, and now let's fold it like this. Yeah. Here are some twists that needs to be fixed a little bit. And then you just have to match this line with this line and fold it up. Start from the valley first. And then you make it a mountain. Just fold them in as far as you can. Maybe we can use our tweezers to help us. Okay. And you have one side of the intake now. And now let's do it to the other side. And then just collapse it like so. Maybe we can tweak it a little bit. Alright. Now you notice that we have this flaps over here, and what you're gonna do is just fold them up. This actually reinforces the leading edge of the wings first, and then again from valley to a mountain. Oops, a twist. Let's return to this step. Come on. And just fold it in like so, and then reinforce it, and let's do it to the other side like so. And then fold it in. And reinforce the creases so they can be more rigid. Alright, now let's fold this in. Okay. Alright, so you just have to fold this over. That will become your hard points. And let's make another reference here, and that is here. You see, you have this, and you just have to fold this tip down a little bit, almost here. Yeah, let's compare it. Yeah, and then what you're gonna do is just fold it down, and also make sure that this is almost parallel with this. Yeah, these two are parallel. Or you can use this side as a reference for the parallel. And then reinforce the crease, and then you do it to the other side. And you also have to compare to check your symmetricity. Alright, after doing so, you just have to make a crease first, and then you just unfold it, and then unfold everything. And now let's see, you fold this up like so, matching this layer right here. Okay, and do it to the other side. And then fold this over. And then check the symmetricity again. Okay. And now you notice that you also have these layers here, and what you're gonna do is just fold them in. And as for this, you just match up these 2 points, and then it might twist a little bit. Yeah, it's like this. Just fold it down like so. This is going to be your vertical stabilizer. Yeah, 2 flats merging into 1. And I'm also going to pull this trick on my F-104 Starfighter, which I have been long prepared but not yet released. But I have a 5-video short, you can check that. Yeah, so both sides are symmetrical now. And after you do this, you just have to notice that you just twist it a little bit and match to the crease you just made before. Yeah, it's right here. And then it should be like this, almost. Alright, So let's do it to the other side again. And also you have to check the symmetricity. Okay. Now let's move on, and then you just have to fold this down like so. And do it to this side. Yeah, it should be like this. This part almost match up with this line right here. And let's do it to the other side. Fold it down. Yeah, just fold this down, and yeah, same for this side. And then okay. And you also have to check the symmetricity again on both sides. Okay, let's go ahead and form the hard points. So basically you just have to fold this up and make sure that you have this edge right here matching up with this edge. They should be parallel, like so. And let's do it to the other side, like this. Again, parallel. Yeah, you can check the symmetricity here, like this. And then you just have to fold this in. Oops, a little bit twist. Come on. Just don't make this too hard for me, haha. Okay. Yeah, repetitive work. And do to this side. And collapse it. And then you just have to do it to here. Or maybe we can do this first. We open this up and then pull this over and collapse it. And let's do it to the other side. And then pull this flap over like so. And then fold this tip up like so. Again, parallel. And fold this in, and then yeah, it should be like this now. And then do it to the other side. Twist it a little bit. And make sure things get parallel and match up both sides. And then you just have to fold this flap down. Same for the other side. And after doing so, you just have to again check it, and you can fold this over and fold this in. Though it's getting a little bit thick right here, but this actually prevents the wings get sloppy and wobble. And then same for this. You just have to fold this in and then fold it downward like so. And then same for this side. You just pull this over. And then open this up and fold this inward. Alright, and now you notice that here's a bit, and now we can finally fold it down. And then you just have to fold it like this, inward, all the layers, like so. And then to lock it up, you just have to fold this tiny bit up a little bit. So you lock the wingtips, and let's reinforce it. And then same for the other side. Come on. Okay, and maybe we can check the symmetricity. Alright, let's move on. And fold this up. So you lock the wingtips now. Now let's do some shaping work. So before that, you have to first, move the landing gears down a little bit so it actually can help holding this rear layers. That's going to be your afterburners. And maybe we can do a little bit shaping. So first you have to fold your wings right here, like so. Yeah, so basically you have your landing gears and here as your reference and guide points. And same for this side. Yeah, that's how the fuselage actually helps to take shape. And you also have to fold this landing gears up, or they will just stuck out in flight mode. And then you just unfold it, and then you notice that this hard point will be another reference. And then you fold this wingtip up, so you can have this crooked style on an actual F-4 Phantom, the dihedral, which is what makes this jet really iconic. And then fold them down. The dihedral should not be too much, or your plane's not gonna fly well, or basically not gonna fly. And for jet fold, you just have to make sure that you have this point right here and this point, and just fold all these things up before you do the jet fold. So it actually makes things a lot easier, like so. Alright. After you do this, you just have to, follow this crease and fold them down. So let's check it a little bit. This crease should be as straight as possible. If it's not straight, things will get messed up. Okay, let's do the jet fold and reinforce it. And fold this tail up like so, and then angle them down. This will be horizontal stabilizers. And then your wings up like this. Same for your landing gear. And this wingtips up. And now, although it's not time to lock the plane yet, we need to first fold the vertical stabilizers. Just make sure that here's a guide point. And then you just have to pull all this up. And then let's see, and this part is like this. and then collapse it and make sure that, yeah, this part is almost vertical with this line. And then you just go ahead and collapse it so you have your vertical stabilizer like so. And let's reinforce it. And you also notice that, well, this tiny bit out here, but we're not going to do it now. We first have to lock the plane now, so it can make some later steps a lot easier. What you're gonna do is first maybe you can fold the wings up, and then you just have to fold all these layers up right in there like so. And the rear part, you can move it out a tiny little bit, so you keep both sides symmetrical instead of being twisted like so. This is stage 1, and then let's move on to stage 2. Lock the things up like so. Come on. And then just fold them down like so. So basically you just lock the plane like this, and let's reinforce it. Alright, you have the tail and the fuselage being almost perfectly shaped. And now there's one loose end here, and just fold them in. So you actually make it a lot more realistic. After doing this, you just have to reinforce it again and fold this out, and then fold your wings up. And as for the afterburners, it's a little bit tricky. You just have to notice that here are 2 free flaps over here, and you just have to fold all these up, although this might be a little bit twisting. And then as you can see here, you just fold them in half like so, and same you do it to the other side like so. Just pull these layers out a little bit right here. Yeah, it should look like this now. Okay. So let's move on, and to lock them up, you just notice that you have these 2 triangles here, and you just tuck them in like this. And same for the other side. So you lock these 2, that will be your afterburners. And then, okay, it starts to be the nasty part, and that is the shaping of the fuselage. And what you're gonna do is just bend it like so, so you actually have the curvy shape. Yeah, it reminds me of how I do this similar stuff on the F-14 Tomcat, the F-15 Eagle, the F-18 Hornet, the Sukhoi Su-27 Flanker. Yeah, and it's almost taking shape now. And the intakes, just pop them up a little bit, but don't make them too large, or it will cause too much drag and your plane would not fly well. Just open it up a little bit. Alright. So you have your intakes like this now, and this curvy shaped fuselage, and then let's pop the afterburners. This is the tricky part. Basically, you just stuck right into this pocket and then just roll it over, roll it out a little bit, and then same for this side. Okay. Come on, this, oh yeah, this is the tricky part. You poke them out first, and then, yeah, you just have to fold this flap over here down a little bit so you can lock your afterburner. Like this. And use your tweezer to adjust it carefully. And yeah, this is one side that is perfectly shaped right now. And then let's do it to the other side. Poke it out first and then fold this down. And round it, and then you just have to adjust everything so you have the second afterburner like so. And let's do some further shaping, and it should be almost done. And yeah, shape the pylons, fold them down like so. Alright, now you get your F-4 Phantom in flight mode. Yay. So now for the parking mode, you just do this. You pop the landing gears down, and it should stand firmly on the table like so. Yeah, adjust it a little bit. Okay. This should conclude the tutorial of the F-4 Phantom. And what are other planes you want me to make? Let me know. Leave it in the comments. Thanks. Okay, so basically, before we made this F-4 Phantom, I actually have 4 other planes that are notable for their realism, including F-14 Tomcat, F-15 Eagle, Sukhoi Su-27 Flanker, and the F-18EF Hornet. And these 4 planes actually mentioned here actually have one thing in common is, yeah, they look realistic. But actually their steps are pretty much, I would say, hell-like, because they really need some sort of crazy stuff that are really tricky to make. And actually you have to say that these 3 planes right here, they're literally sculptures that can fly with a toss. And the Tomcat is the only one that has some sort of function, and that is the moving wings. But this one is almost some sort of next level when it comes to combining fun and realism, because it not only has a lot of features of the real plane, but I think the steps of this jet is pretty basic. The only thing that seems a little bit tricky might just be this fuselage in the final stage, and the rest, yeah, just seem pretty easy, pretty basic. And then you just get this result, and it even has landing gears and hard points, so you can even, yeah, you have more choice to play with this thing instead of these. Except the F-14, you can experiment different swept angles. And these three, you just, yeah, they just display there, and then you just toss it away. No more types of playing style, and this is kind of more fun. Okay, this should conclude this video now. Goodbye. See you soon.